Hello, this is Erin with Erin Go Read, and today it's a book tag video. I cannot remember the last time I did a book tag, but this one is the 1001 Books tag by Sandy at Miss Reads a Lot, and I was so kindly tagged by Kim at Middle of the Book March. So this was inspired, I think, by the 1001 books you must read before you die, and Sandy is working her way through that list, so quite ambitious. And so let's get started. Do you follow any book lists? So I actually, it was either the very first video or maybe the second video I did, and it was the concept to kind of start my BookTube channel was that I was going to read through the PBS Great American Read top 100 books. So it was a books of, I think they said most influential books, I think was how they stated it. PBS is kind of like the BBC of America, public broadcasting. And I think at the time it came out, I had read 35 or 36 of the 100. I've since read probably at least another 20 that was on that list. I had this whole idea of I was collecting all the books. I had them tagged as far as what number on the list they were. And I just got bored with it. I don't like having assigned reading, I think. And there was several books that I just had no interest in reading. And so I've since unhauled a lot of those books, or at least removed the tag off of it, and I will read them when I read them. Otherwise, I follow the BookTube Prize. I was a judge for that the second year, so 2020. I would love to do it again. I was thinking about it for this year. I know the call for judges is out right now, but I just think where I am in my business, I really need to be not, again, have this assigned reading as fun as it is. So very much looking forward to being at a point in my business that I can devote more time to reading in general, but to be a part of the BookTube Prize again. And then I would say the Women's Prize for Fiction. I've never read the long list, read the short list, but I definitely pay attention to it, and it's probably the greatest source of besides the BookTube Prize, it's probably the single source of where I get how am I trying to say that? I get a lot, what I'm trying to say is, I get a lot of books. A lot of those books end up on my TBR because they seem interesting to me. 1001 books. How many books approximately do you own? This is actually the second time I'm filming this because I had an audio issue the first time and I recorded 80% of the video with no sound. The first time I took you on a tour. I'm not going to do that again. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 areas that I have significant amount of books besides just randomly in stacks right here next to me. But the one in the other room, it's 5 bookcases long, I think. So I would guesstimate between 500 to 700. That's a lot. That's a lot. I don't want to count that high. That would take too long. 1001 books read. How many books have you read in your lifetime? Now, I wasn't really keeping track until 2018. I know that in 2018, I think I read I'm not sure, in roughly 50, I'm going to say. I know I read over 100 in 2019. I've probably read since 2018, 250 books, 250 to 300 books. And I don't think that I'd read 100 books before then. So yeah, I don't know, but 400-ish, maybe 400 to 500-ish. So yeah, I've definitely increased that total a lot in the last few years. And even though I'm not reading nearly as much as I would like to right now, I'm still adding to that total, pretty well, getting a few books read at least every month. 1001 Arabian Nights. Have you read any stories from the Arabian Nights? Do you have a favorite? If you haven't read it, do you want to? So I actually have a copy of 1001 Arabian Nights right here. I have not read a lick from it. I would love to. Maybe I'll keep it out and so I can get to it. I have this, I think, because when I read 100 Nights of Hero by Isabel Greenberg a couple years ago, it made me want to read 1001 Arabian Nights because that's where kind of the premises of this came from. Great gift, like Christmas gift, even for like not super ready people, because it's a graphic novel. I got this for mine and my husband's siblings a couple years ago for Christmas. I also think there was another book though that I read where 1001 Arabian Nights was referenced quite a lot, and it made me want to read it. But again, I bought the book and then I haven't read it yet. 1001 Flavors. Do you have a favorite food or flavor? I love tacos. Like what's so cool about a taco is that you can take like all sorts of different flavor profiles and make it into a taco. So yeah, I love me some tacos. I love pie and I love cookies. I definitely like sweet things. I love a good salty, savory combo. I don't know. I just like food. 1001 Pages. Have you read a book over 1001 pages? I have. And what is the longest book you've read? So I believe those are both the same thing. I think Edge of Eternity, book 3 in the Century Trilogy by Ken Follett. I think this is the only book I've read that's over 1,000 pages. I annoyingly have so many that are just shy, including Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follett, which is like 980-ish pages or something like that. And do I recommend it? I do. Although this is the third in a trilogy, and the previous two books are each like over 900 pages, I believe, as well. If you really enjoy historical fiction and you would like to kind of basically get to experience the 20th century through the eyes of Americans, Germans, Russians, English, and Welsh people, this is a really, really cool way to do it. The first book starts off just before the assassination of Franz Ferdinand and goes up until the epilogue of this one is actually the inauguration of Barack Obama, but the storyline takes you through like the Vietnam War and civil rights movement. 1001 Buckets. Do you have a non-bookish bucket list? What is one thing on the list? So one thing I've crossed off. Certainly don't have a list that's like written down. Just things kind of in my head. So one of those things was running the Marine Corps Marathon, which I got to do in 2019 with my best friend and her husband. So that was amazing, and then I got to run it before my husband passed. Made it even more special because he got to know about it and cheer me on and all that. Not physically, he didn't go to DC, but then otherwise, I would really love to go to Machu Picchu. Climb Machu Picchu, also just to experience Peru. And actually that same friend that I ran the marathon with, she actually has a client whose parents live in Peru, and it's a possibility that we might get to go stay with them when eventually when the world calms down a little bit. So that would be really cool. It's the only thing I can really think of right now as far as bucket lists go. 1001 Numbers. Do you have a lucky number? I guess I would say 29. My birthday is on the 29th of November, and so I don't know, I just tend to like the number 29. I don't like prime numbers, but 29, I guess, gets a pass. 1001 Authors. Do you have a favorite author or genre? I would say that Frederick Bachman, who wrote one of my other favorite, like Ken Follett, Frederick Bachman, probably my favorite authors, I would say. A Man Called Ove and Pillars of the Earth are probably my top two favorite books, I think. Favorite genre? I really don't have a favorite genre. I tend to lean towards literary fiction, but I like sci-fi and fantasy and mystery. I don't like horror. I like thrillers. I don't know. I also just haven't read a lot of horror, so I don't know. Maybe it could be my thing. Romance is another one that I think I'm not anti-romance. I don't try it very often, first of all. So I haven't tried very hard, but I haven't just like found the right type of romance novel for me, I think. I read Take a Hint, Danny Brown a few months ago and just didn't get it. It's like all over the place. Everybody loves it. I don't get it. The main character had fibromyalgia. I have fibromyalgia, and so you'd think that I would have this, like, I don't know. I appreciated the fibro rep, but just the book didn't work for me. Just like I don't get it. I don't know. I have enjoyed romances in stories. Pillars of the Earth is a good example of that, where there's a significant love story in Pillars of the Earth. More than one, but one in particular. And that's actually what made me read the book in the first place. A nurse had told me that my husband and I reminded him of these characters from his favorite book. And he rereads this book every few years, and that's how I learned about Pillars of the Earth to begin with. So I like when a romance is done well as part of a story, but I just haven't found a romance novel yet that I'm into. So if you think you have any recommendations for me, let me know. Something I could try. 1001 activities. Do you have a favorite outdoor activity? I love being outside. I love being active. So running, hiking, just going for a walk, a bike ride. Got into stand-up paddleboarding this summer. Reading outside, I love just relaxing and reading outside. So yeah, let's go play Frisbee. Go play outside. I love it. 1001 book clubs. I am in real life book club. It's a group of ladies from my church. We have a book list from one of the local Christian high schools. Many of either their kids are in high school there, or they will be going to high school at this school. And there's a really significant, impressive book list that they're supposed to read. I think they have to read 100 books by the time they graduate from freshman to senior year. And that's the list that we've been going off of. So our last one was Anne of Green Gables, which was lovely. It was a reread for me. It was like a huge part of my childhood. But yeah, I've definitely read some books on there that I probably wouldn't have gotten to if it wasn't for this. It's a huge, diverse list of fiction, nonfiction, all sorts of different eras and genres and subject matters. Yeah. I think Sandy wants to know is if she did a 1001 book club, reading through that list, doing a book a month, would people be into it? And I would totally be down for that. Sign me up, Sandy. And then 1001 friends. Tag some bookish friends. So I will tag Doris from All Deep Books and Scott and Nell from Gunpowder Fiction and Plot. And that is the 1001 book tag. Thank you for watching. See you around the tubes.